Welcome to another episode of Open World Season 2. Today I'm going to be the host. I'm going to be the one making the questions. How is everyone doing today?
Very good. Excited about the topic today.
Yes. Today's topic is diversity and inclusion. And as a woman playing video games, I strive to see more diversity and inclusion, both in video games and in the video game industry too, right? So my first question for you guys today is, what is diversity and inclusion for you?
Well, for me, I mean, this is a very, very important topic, and I think what I like the most about video games is that it just means like different things to everyone, and I would like to see a place where everyone feels represented, they feel comfortable playing, they feel welcome, and you know, we've seen that it's not always the case, so we definitely need to do better at this.
I agree with you, 100%. Ale, what about you?
I agree, of course. I think that diversity and inclusion needs to sum up, places both in the companies and in what is represented in video games for everyone, no matter who you are.
Absolutely, yeah. I think in terms of diversity and inclusion, it should be easy by now. It should be easier, it should be smoother right now. But we have some. It shouldn't be a topic. But yeah, we have some cases where some companies or some video games try to be inclusive and diverse, and it seems sometimes a little bit too off or too forced, and that's not good either, It's just like, we're working together. I think we're striving together. So we understand that it's like a B2B side of diversity and inclusion and a B2C side of diversity and inclusion. What do I mean by this? I mean, we have the business side, the companies encouraging their employees and their politics to be more diverse and inclusive. And we also have the video games that strive to be more inclusive too, right? I think the demographics show that more than 46% of people that play video games are women. Do you believe this is showing in the video games that you are currently playing right now?
Yeah, this is, I mean, it just seems that a lot of companies still think their target as like a 14-year-old guy, which is, it's no longer the case. There's like grandmas playing video games and they're gamers too. So, just to have more, and it's kind of a cycle for me. That's how I see it. Like, we have not a very like diverse industry. I mean, like the developers and in general. So especially in like leadership roles. And we're gonna talk about like the numbers later. That feeds into like also games who are showing societies which are not diverse.
What about you, Ale? Do you see these reflected in any video games that you have played?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's getting there.
It's getting there, right?
It's getting there. I mean, I think that the tricky part is when it doesn't matter what type of character you're playing. For instance, in a video game, right? What we experience on our side of the joystick. As I like to say, if it doesn't matter what type of character, what type of representation your character is, because it's unrelated.
Yeah, of course, it's about the story, it's about the background, the character, how much you connect with the character, all these things.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. Like, it could be an Asian teenager from a black male in his 50s. I don't know, whatever the spectrum is. When that doesn't matter, most companies usually just go for the
basic white dude.
Basic white dude.
Straight.
Straight, yeah.
But I think that it's getting there. I mean, there are games that have done it properly with the customization of the characters,
I think they are missing out, I believe, in a huge part of the story, in a huge part of maybe making the game more relatable to the one that is playing it. So it's just like, why don't you make the jump? Why don't you make your game more relatable to the community, right?
Yes.
And I personally love Overwatch because I believe Overwatch has this same amount of female and male players, and we also have non-binary characters too. So it's just like we have this diversity and inclusion in the game, and it runs smoothly, and it's like nobody cares.
And I think it's
not forced. When it's not forced,
absolutely.
Yeah.
When you have representation of how life is, you
Yeah.
go around in life and you get to know different people. Apex is another game that does it beautifully.
Absolutely.
You know, you have a wide spectrum of characters. They are all different. They all have their own stories, and even though it doesn't matter the stories of the characters for the game, it feels natural.
It feels natural. I know that Harvestella is one of the Square Enix new games that you can actually make your own character and you can actually choose to be non-binary. So I think that's amazing. Another game that I'm currently playing is Tiny Tina's Wonderland, where we are introduced to a non-binary character and they are addressed with their pronouns as they, and it's just amazing. It runs smoothly. It's great. I mean, I enjoy that kind of content because you get different perspectives, and nowadays I think that's the most beautiful thing to see in a video game, right?
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter, like, you know, it's not that you necessarily want to see someone that looks exactly like you, but it's just that magic of video games that you get to see, like, the world, whatever the world is, in someone else's eyes. And then, you know, when that character has a very interesting and a very different background than your own, then you get like a whole different perspective, and that's just like, it just makes you grow. That's
and I think it makes you grow as a person. And I don't know, when you see and you can relate maybe to this non-binary character, for example, and then you see in real life, I don't know, imagine I'm a 12-year-old boy that doesn't know what a binary person is.
And then you play The Last of Us 2 or like games like this.
Oh my God, yeah, and then you find a non-binary person in real life. I think it gets easier. It's just a matter of making things easier for everyone. Mainly, I know you have the numbers about all of this diversity.
Yeah, we did some research about it just to, you know, because
did your homework.
You think like, I think there's like more girls playing here, but then you see the numbers, like almost half of the people who are playing video games are women, and then you have it. One of the studies we saw was Newzoo, this is the one who published like 46% of women. And another number that we were very shocked was they showed that 1 in 3 gamers have not felt welcome in gaming communities. And that really like just made us sad, just because you know, we're gonna talk more about this later, but we of course want to strive to, you know, just not toxic communities, and like, everyone can feel appreciated and, you know, comfortable and can connect with other people who, you know, think alike and
it's a reality. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that it's 1 of 3 gamers have not felt welcomed into a gaming community. I've experienced this. Have you experienced this? It's just like,
yeah, I mean, we all have our own whys, you know, different reasons why we felt at some point, I don't know, off or not welcome. I've had, I don't know, I don't want to dwell too into this, but from being Latino, from being from South America and having, no, you have poor internet, I don't want to play with you because you're going to lag.
yeah.
I mean, okay, sure, whatever. I've also had situations where...
And I mean, yeah, with the being Latino thing, I think that's huge because sometimes they don't know what gender am I that I'm playing. And the other day I was playing and this dude just realized that I was from Latin America somehow, because I think it was for the ping, because I was having like too much lag. And he realized that I was from Latin America. And on the chat, he started saying, arepa, arepa, taco, arepa. I was like, we don't even have that in Argentina, but you were just being rude for like no reason at all. It's just like,
and also when you sometimes, of course, you see, you know, someone else, like when people are being, you know, hard on someone else, and then you know, you feel uncomfortable for the other person. You feel like, hey, yeah, it's like, this is not okay. Like, you should just stop playing, you know.
One of the other things, sorry guys, but that I just remember, I've had people bashing on me because I was a dad. Like I'm playing something, and usually it was, I don't know, PvP on Bloodborne or whatever, and like my kid was crying or something. He was he was an infant, like at 1 year old and a half, something like that. And they were like, "Why don't you go be a dad? What are you doing playing video games?" It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's
What's
just
your problem? What's the deal? I mean,
there is nothing wrong with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's all part of just realizing that everyone plays video games and everyone can play video games, and it's just like, you know, open up a bit more. It's just the industry in general, and so that everyone can feel.
Yeah, Millie, have you experienced this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been like I said on our first episode, like I haven't been playing for a while, so not as many experiences as you had, Lari, but you know, even in the amount of time I've been playing online, especially, like, you know, you get teams. I've met some wonderful people. Like I met some really nice, like gamer friends, and now I play always. But of course, I've also met some other people who weren't as nice, and they just like, you know, either made comments or just one person just assumed I was bad just because I'm a woman, and then he was like, you know, he just made a comment. I was like, you haven't even played with me. I mean, I am bad, but you haven't even played with me.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I'm a woman.
Exactly. That's why I got so pissed. I just left the party. I just have no time for that. I have no time to be honest. Now I play to entertain myself, to have fun. That's the whole point. Like, what's the point if you're gonna just not have a great experience?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, sometimes I have PTSD from some video games. I cannot go into certain video games again because they have said so many awful things to me that I cannot go back in. It's just like every time I want to go back, I get this anxiety attack, and it's just like, I can't. It's just, they ruined a game for me. It's a lot, you know. It's just, it doesn't feel right. Why? I mean, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make any sense. Just because sometimes I killed you, sometimes I'm better than you. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Please
deal with it.
I'm better than you, and yeah, I'm a girl. What you gonna do about it?
I'm not a hacker.
Yeah.
I'm not hacking.
I'm just playing. You know?
And
and listen, Ali, I know that you've been researching a little bit about this, but I know that Riot and Ubisoft are getting somewhere with this initiative.
I mean, two of the biggest companies, I mean, unrelated to this episode, guys, but I'm an Ubisoft guy. I love my
we can tell.
Assassin's Creed game. I mean, they're working on something that they are calling zero harming comms. That they are using new technology to track the communications among players, you know, to avoid things like we've been talking about happen to people. Now, the interesting part about the technology that they are using is that up until now, most, if not all, technologies were dictionary-based technologies, you know, where they, like, I don't know, pre-installed some concepts or whatever, and that's how they flagged it. But now they are trying to come up with something that keeps into account the context and the actual things that they are saying. But the interesting part of it is that once they figure it out completely, they're gonna share what they've learned with others so that more companies can implement it.
That's great.
So we're getting there. Thank you, Riot and Ubisoft.
It makes us hopeful for, you know, just in the future that we don't have to experience this type of thing.
We know that representation is important, right? Do you think it is important also to see it not only in the video games, but in the video game industry too?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think, like I mentioned something like related to this before, but it's kind of a circle in that way. And we also have some numbers according to that. And there's, the International Game Developers Association showed that 22% of game developers are women. And it's even, I mean, worse in the leadership roles. There's only like 4% of game directors who are women. And that's, you know, when you see the demographic of people, you know, the gamers, and then, you know, who are the people who are developing those games, and like Ale said before, you know, it doesn't mean it just brings different perspective. When you have a more diverse, work environment, it just brings a different perspective. It just like make a better story in general. Though it doesn't mean it has to be a story about, even if it's, set it in Asian Japan, whatever. It's gonna still bring a new perspective to your game.
Yeah, I mean, diverse work teams are crucial to bring different perspectives and different points of view into a video game story, like you said, regardless of the games that you're making.
Yeah, and regardless of the character, because I could be a woman programming and not necessarily be working on a female character, but it's just the perspective, and not only the programmers, the writers. I think we should be getting more diverse experiences. We should be getting like more consultancy agencies maybe to get this type of...
Like that's yes, like that's something that's been shown in like those games that you said, when they seem forced and they just don't approach it in the right way, and you can get like a backlash from your game community being like,
there are
this
companies
is not
that do consultancy for video game companies that maybe want to do it right, but they don't know how.
And it's okay not knowing how.
It's okay not knowing how.
But yeah, open the book. I mean, let's go for it, look for it, learn from it. And I think that's what makes the difference. Having a diverse team will teach you that too. So it's just like, you can make it like easier. You don't even have to go to a consultancy thing. Maybe if you have like a diverse work team working with you in this specific video game, right? It's just like, not only you can go get the help that you need, but you can also incorporate that. Like
absolutely. And I think we can also see like the type of stories. I mean, we've seen some amazing games coming in the last years. The video games are just look insane, and the type of stories, they're amazing. But we're still missing that, and this is I'm gonna keep telling you. It's just a fact. It's not only how I feel about it, it's just a fact. There's the study done by Diamond Lobby, where they took the main games, like the games that were played in the last 5 years, and then they eliminated the ones that have customizable characters, so it's only the games who have
the characters by default.
Exactly, and there's a list of 100 games, and those 100 games, the biggest 100 games of the last 5 years, and they show that 80% of the protagonists are male, 20% are female, and there's 8% of the main characters in games are females of non-white ethnicities, and 61% of all the characters in games are white. So, not only the main characters, but also
it's very square.
That's why I think that's why representation is so important, because as I told you guys on one of the first episodes, I started playing video games with Lara Croft. Why? Because she was a girl, and that was the only thing that took me into the video game world, just because she was a girl. We need more of that.
Absolutely,
and not only with a girl, with non-binary person. It's just like we need more.
And I mean, from my point of view, right? I love to play in a video game with a character that's different than me.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like the fact that I can go into someone else's shoes, and experience different things. I mean, take it, and not just with like games that are based on current days, even historical games like, again, Ubisoft, sorry, Assassin's Creed with Valhalla or Odyssey, that regardless of the genre that you pick for your character, the situations remain the same. Historically wise, romantically as well. I mean, that's awesome. That's an awesome thing to experience.
And I think it's important to like acknowledge just the social impact that games can have in general. Like when you're showing a society, it can be a completely just like a fantasy world where it's just diverse and everyone feels welcome, and there's like all these different characters with all like really deep stories, and you connect with them, and it just has a positive impact on everyone who's playing that game. And just when you have a game, you're missing that opportunity to make that social impact, and like just make society just
Yeah.
better. Because when you're portraying all the stereotypes we already have in our society, and all the things that are wrong, that are,
if you perpetuate that in video games as well.
I want to bring something to the table, because we are linguists and we know the importance of language. What role do you think that language has in inclusivity and diversity? Because, for example, my mother tongue is Spanish, and Spanish is a gender language. So all the time that I sit to play a video game, the game just assumes that I'm a man, and I'm not. It's just like, what do you think about this? How can we talk about this? Like,
it's a difficult topic, because as you said, Spanish is gendered, but there are many other languages that are not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I think, but some developers are doing it, they're considering this from the get-go, from the start. And I think that if companies think of this as a part of the localization process as well, from the get-go, it's gonna make every localization, every translation easier for all translators, and for all gamers to receive something diverse, inclusive, properly done in their own native language. Because growing up, I remember it doesn't have anything to do with diversity and inclusion, I think, but I remember playing video games in English or in Spanish from Spain.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's not my Spanish, and
it doesn't help you feel related to the character,
Or even the immersive experience was broken.
Yeah.
I remember playing
that.
God of War and Kratos speaking like someone from Madrid. Really.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is off.
Yeah.
It's off. It throws you off.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think we're seeing a bit more now that companies, just find that how important localization is in like, how successful your game will be internationally. And we're going to talk a bit more about like the history of localization in video games in another episode.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But I think just having that your game available in your own language, of course, it just help you connect with the game. And then it's also the fact about how language can go side by, language is like a living thing, and it's, the French or Spanish or Arabic, other languages that are gendered, just finding maybe gender neutral alternatives, and that it's something that it's happening now. And then you can choose, from your game, do you want to try to find gender neutral alternatives, or how you can use language on your advantage to promote diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
To add to that, sorry, languages is super important when you play video games, when you watch a movie or whatever. It's how you see and how you express what you experience in life, And if you're playing a game that you can relate to on that level as well, it goes to your heart. How could it not to?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think can be done to improve this? What do you think video game companies can do to make games more diverse, more inclusive? I want to hear your opinions, how things can get better, because I want to end up in a high note, please.
Yes,
let me dream.
I think it is. We're seeing a trend. It is getting better. Like, we're seeing some amazing games. We don't want to be like here assuming that all the games are doing. There's some amazing games that are doing a great job, like we mentioned in this episode.
Yeah.
So I think we are getting better. There's still a lot to be done, of course. But having more diverse. On the business side, the companies, of course, that would help. And then just talking a bit more about it, sharing more how the gamers feel, and this, giving that importance it needs, because that's your demographic now. You just have to realize, if you want your game to be successful, you need to, just keep getting better.
Keep on keeping on.
Yes.
I agree totally, and what I think that companies need to continue listening to their gamers. They need to continue building diverse teams. And if companies have success studies, have success cases, to share it, to open up how they were successful in making their games and their companies more diverse. Because, I mean, I don't know if we talked about this, but if your company is not diverse, it's gonna be quite difficult to make a diverse game.
Yeah.
So for me, it's keep on keeping on, trying to learn more every day. I know that I learn every day. It's okay to make mistakes, but it's even better to acknowledge them
and
learn and move forward and be better.
Absolutely. And well, as for me, where to start? I think Women in Games is amazing. I'm a Women in Games ambassador. I'm part of also Women in Localization. And there are a lot of organizations that do this. There's a lot of people that want to get into the video game industry. You just have to go knocking on doors. There are like a lot of organizations, Latinx in Gaming. You can go to the IGDA. The IGDA has amazing resources for everyone. You have associations like GamerX. I mean, we're gonna list some of the companies below so that you can access and get in touch with them. Absolutely.
More.
Absolutely. So
and the studies where we took all the numbers from as well. If you wanna take
so you can check it. That we are talking facts here. It's just like they are no longer only men playing video games. We are here too, and I think
it's been like that for a while now.
And it's been like that for a while. So I hope things get better. And thank you so much for joining us in this episode. And drop your comments down below because we're going to be reading them. And join our Discord. You can find the link down below too. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.